Those folks over at Ayaneo, they are insane. They are mad. They just announced 7 new products, and I think obviously the biggest criticism that people have had for Ayaneo for the longest time is that they just released too many products, and they just showcased 7 new products, and these were all a part of their Ayaneo remake line. And I've got to say, they are geniuses when it comes to design. Like, I feel like that's not up for debate, right? Like, their aesthetics are just amazing. And this line that they have here with the Ayaneo remake is no different. These are some gorgeous designs. All jokes aside, I do have my concerns, of course, about announcing so many products so quickly. And clearly, they're going to release a lot of products very quickly. Even if they take all of 2024 to release these products, it's still going to be almost 1 new product per month. But let's get into it, right? Because only 3 of these were Windows handhelds, which I guess is pretty good for Ayaneo. There were a bunch of other products as well, and all of these are inspired by classic devices, which is really cool, right? Like, they're inspired by things like iMacs, old school mobile phones, classic Apple Macintosh, and of course a whole lot of Nintendo products. More than half of these are potentially infringing on Nintendo's IP, so maybe there will be Nintendo ninjas involved in all of this. But yeah, let me talk about the actual products because some of these are interesting. I'm gonna go backwards. Like, the beginning of their conference was the Ayaneo Flip and the Ayaneo Slide, and we've seen those before, so I kind of want to talk about the things that we haven't seen before up front, starting with the Pocket DMG. So this is one right off the bat that might be infringing on Nintendo IP. Obviously, a lot of handheld makers have borrowed that Game Boy design, but this time they're actually calling it the Pocket DMG. If you don't know, the model number for the original Game Boy was DMG-01. So this feels really risky on Ayaneo's part to name this the Pocket DMG. Nonetheless, we didn't get a ton of details. We just know that this is sort of a retro handheld as opposed to a Windows handheld that they've more traditionally made. We don't know what the chipset's going to be. We don't know what the OS is going to be. We certainly don't know what the price is going to be. And we barely saw a silhouette of the device with a little bit of detail around an Aya button being there, a pretty nice looking D-pad, the shoulder buttons, and at least a single analog stick, a left analog stick. The thing they really focused on here is the fact that they're bringing what they called their elegant design style to retro handhelds. A lot of retro handhelds do kind of look really functional, I would say, you know, really practical and not necessarily beautiful. And trust me, I am one of those people that enjoys practical devices. I don't need something to look gorgeous. But Ayaneo is good at making things look gorgeous, so yeah, it seems like they're going to do the same thing here with the Pocket DMG. The next 2 are a pair of mini PCs that we also didn't get a lot of detail on. But even more so than retro handhelds, I feel like mini PCs are a place that have been in dire need of some sort of elegant design, right? Like, as of right now, the mini PCs that are out there do not look pretty. At best, they look practical. At worst, they look gaudy. And these 2 mini PCs from Ayaneo, they look gorgeous. Once again, they look really good. The first one I want to talk about is the AM02. This one is fashioned after the classic NES. It has a little tray that you can open, just like the front loader on the NES, and this tray that you open, it exposes some ports, so that's pretty cool. And then it also has a screen. They refer to the screen as innovative, and I wouldn't quite go that far. In these marketing renders, it's just showing the time, but clearly it might be able to show something else. There are a lot of like second screens that you can have for PC that can show a variety of things, so I'm curious to see not just what Ayaneo delivers with this built-in screen, but maybe what modders are going to be capable of. Like, I think it'd be cool to see what you would normally see in HWinfo and RTSS as part of a performance overlay. I also think it'd be cool to just showcase your own pixel art, like one of those DVOOM speakers I've shown off on this channel before. In any case, the other mini PC that they showed off is called the AM01, and this one is more fashioned after the classic Apple Macintosh. It has what looks at first like a screen, but it is just a place to put stickers. This AM01 is going to come with a variety of stickers that you can use to place here. Now, they say that they feel like both of these mini PCs have the potential to be groundbreaking. That's definitely one of those things where, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. I think most likely it's going to depend on what you consider to be revolutionary or groundbreaking. I think in terms of aesthetic design, then yeah, maybe they'll reach that bar. And also, like, maybe that's enough, right? Like, both of these mini PCs do look really nice, and they would look good plugged in under a TV or at your desk. So if you're someone that really cares about what your desk looks like or what your TV setup looks like, then yeah, this is something that I think you're going to consider. Certainly, I'm wondering what the price is going to be and what chip is going to be inside of here. The size of these things kind of imply that you're not going to have a GPU, so hopefully you do get Thunderbolt or Oculink in case you do want to do an eGPU solution. That said, in the conference, Arthur did say that we'll hear more about this pretty soon, so I'm hoping that, like he was saying, they'll give us more info around December or so. Now, this next one, I've got to say, I'm actually a little excited about. They announced a power bank that looks a lot like a Super Nintendo, and again, I'm worried about maybe IP infringement, maybe the Nintendo Ninjas coming after Ayaneo. But yeah, this power bank looks cool, and here's the reason I'm excited about it, right? Like, everything else I've talked about so far and everything else I'm gonna talk about are multiple hundreds of dollars, right? And in all likelihood, because of this elegant design, as they say, I think each of their products are going to be priced high compared to other similar products on the market. And for people with a lot of disposable income, that's fine. But something like the power bank from Ayaneo gives them an opportunity to flex that same design and even have a higher price than other power banks, but still have it be something that is relatively affordable to the general consumer. Like, I would pay a little extra money to have a power bank that can double as sort of desk decoration. So yeah, I hope that Ayaneo does more of this. I hope they make more power adapters, more power banks like this one, and I hope they make stuff like Bluetooth speakers. Obviously, they already make a ton of products as it is, but I'd like to see them try their hand at sort of this smaller stuff that is going to be more affordable to the general consumer and maybe build an audience that can grow into handhelds and things like that. So those were all the newer announcements. They did also cover the Ayaneo Flip DS, Ayaneo Flip KB, Ayaneo Slide, and the Pocket S. Those are things that we've known about for some time. Again, calling it the Ayaneo Flip DS is definitely asking to be sued by Nintendo, but hey, you do what you do. Interestingly, they showcased that second screen as being used as a sort of permanent command center, and I think that's not terribly exciting to me. But at the same time, you probably can't showcase DS and 3DS emulation on an official stream. I think it's fascinating that they're making this handheld that basically can only be targeted at DS emulation, 3DS emulation, and maybe Dreamcast emulation with like the VMU. I can't really think of any other use case for the Ayaneo Flip DS. And granted, those are some pretty good use cases. It's just that is extremely specific, right? I think the cool thing about the Steam Deck and to an extent the Lenovo Legion Go is that they are to a large extent Swiss Army knives for pretty much anything you're going to play on PC. In any case, I am interested to see how these products land. I think that surprisingly, despite the fact that they have so many products, and despite the fact that their design is sort of head and shoulders above a lot of other companies, they seem to really be keeping up with their peers in other aspects. And when I say their peers, I mean GPD, One Netbook, and AOK Zoe. And when I say keeping up, I mean that their support is at least as good as those few, and their reliability seems to be at least as good as those few. Their software seems to be better. So even though I do genuinely have my concerns, they have piqued my curiosity. I really want to see what these mini PCs look like, and I really want them to do, like I said, more of those power banks and accessories and things like that. But in any case, I've already spoken way too much about just Ayaneo's new products on the horizon. Let me know what you think. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Deck Gang out. Goodbye.